Bonjour and welcome to the best time of the week, New Comic Book Day. I don't. Yeah, I might be a little bit late with this one, but you know how real life interferes every now and again. As always, thank you to my sexy subscribers, and anyone who's viewing and liking. Just thank you to you all if you're supporting my humble little channel. And helping it grow, and this is my happy place, talking about comics. And I have got 10 of the best this week. I've got 5 that I'm also going to do a deep dive on after the scroll, but I'm going to talk about the 10 best comics, and then we'll have a close look at the top 5. So if you're really, that's where all the spoilers are going to be after the scroll. And I have got a whinge of the weekend this week. But it's not an excessive whinge. It's just a very what I consider a very polarising comic, and I'm obviously on one side of it rather than the other. Before I crack on, I do want to thank everyone who's coming over and giving me a go from Threads. I really didn't think that I would find such a positive group of people that just love comics as much as I do. I've got to admit, I'm having a really good time. If you're watching this and you're not on Threads, get on over there, because there is a fantastic bunch of people. And thank you to all you guys and girls that are obviously following me. I'm following you. We're chatting about comics, and we're sharing pictures and gossip and stuff. It's what you imagine. It's what I imagined social media would be like when it first started, rather than a kind of rancid, ear of all the nutters cesspool. And obviously I'm showing my age now, aren't I? But I've got to admit, really, really enjoying Threads. So, and once again, thank you if you're coming over to me from there. If you haven't, I'm still thanking you if you're here for the first time. Let's get on with it. I'm going to get this one out of the way first, so that you know it's not my book of the week, yeah? Ultimate Black Panther #1. Now, yeah, I am getting it out of the way so you know it's not my book of the week, but that's not to say that isn't a great read. But you know what I mean. There's a lot of hype about this book and all the Ultimate books. But anyway, we're going to have a deep dive on that. That was a solid start, a good read. And do you know what? I do believe there was a bit more. This is going to be controversial, isn't it? I do think, as an issue 1 of a comic, that was a better issue 1 than Ultimate Spider-Man. See what I mean about controversial? And because it was a bit more driven. There seemed to be a bit more momentum, rather than Ultimate Spider-Man, which, don't get me wrong, was also a good start. They're both good starts, good reads, but just bear with me. That's just a decent comic that you could pick up in the old days, and it would be a good read, almost. I know comics aren't this way anymore, until we get to my next comic, which anyway. And there's a couple here actually that are a little bit old school. Beginning, middle, end. Ultimate Spider-Man was the beginning of that's going to go on and on and on. So obviously they spent a long while establishing everything, and it's all good. But I think that issue 1 was just a better. I don't know. Maybe the word momentum isn't the word I'm looking for. I might think of one by the time I do a deep dive on it. Bear with me. Well, another great read that we've got to have a look at is, I thought I was going to absolutely detest this comic. This issue, sorry. I've been enjoying Doctor Strange for many a year. But I thought, and I've been up and down with Jen McKay on this. But I've got to admit, I thought I was going to hate this. And I didn't. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was almost like one of those old-fashioned fill-in issues. Although I think it must be a 2-parter. I hope it's only a 2-parter. I don't know how they're going to extend that storyline out, unless it is just almost like a prologue to a 6-parter. Anyway, we'll have a look at that. I just enjoyed it, and you can see it's put a smile on my face, that comic this week. Another one that's been hyped to the max, but deservedly so. Wasn't a big Thundercats fan. I don't know why all these franchises passed me by back in the day. Transformers, G.I. Joe, Thundercats. What's the other one? There's one more, isn't there? Anyway, they all passed me by back in the day. So I'm only coming at these as, are they a decent comic and a decent read? Yeah. And again, an issue 1 that is bringing us the characters, and it's not, it's got some movement to it. It's got some drama. Yeah, really enjoyed it. And we'll have a look. Nice artwork, just a nice job. Great comic. This, as always, if you aren't picking up any of these distillery books, these guys are slowly building up their content, and everything is high quality. I can see why they've gone, because I had my moments where I think, why have you done this format? But I've got to admire them. They've got my full respect for having just decided, where to place themselves in the market. We're going to place ourselves right at the top with quality content, and all create our own stuff, and they are great. The thing I've got to moan about is the fact I've got to wait 3 months. But in the middle, like last week was, or last couple of weeks was Somna, but I was away, so forgive me. But there's been this Somna, and I think the sci-fi kind of short story thing they did. But they're kind of ramping it up gradually this year. So hopefully I'll have one a month, and then I won't miss them for too long a time. But that's my only gripe with that, which is a good gripe, I think. Book of the week. This, if you like the film Seven and those of its ilk, you will absolutely love this. And obviously Ram V, his writing is superb in whatever he does. Lawrence Campbell on the artwork, and Ram V together. Lee Luffridge on the colours, which obviously is a stalwart of the colouring. The three of them together, and the lettering as well. I'll give them a mention when we do a deep dive. But you know what I mean. The teamwork on that to accomplish such a moody atmosphere in 2D on a page was spot on for me. Absolutely spot on. And I know page turner is an overused term, but on that, the turn of the page, something new, something that drives the story forward, something you wasn't expecting. Cracking comic. It's absolutely superb. So I'm going to do a deep dive on those after the scroll. And we're going to do cover of the week as well, I forgot to mention, which is my little fun look, just at the artwork on the cover, where we imagine if we only had pocket money for one comic, and we went to that spinner rack or the shelf at the newsagent or drugstore, we only had pocket money for one comic, based on because we all went for the covers, didn't we? It's just natural. Before you look inside, you've got to see the cover. Anyway, we're going to deep dive on them. Do cover of the week after the scroll. But before that, there's 5 more honourable mentions this week. A good week of comic where I'm struggling to do a deep dive and find the book of the week, because Gone was, it was between Gone and One Last Hand, is it? The One Hand. I enjoyed it so much I forgot the name of it. Loads of good comics this week. This was a brilliant, fun throwback. Who out there remembers Uncanny X-Men number 268? I thought you might not, but you're all running, aren't you now? You're all thinking, is it the one we catch it? Yes, it is, yes. The Jim Lee. So this takes place right after that issue. Claremont, this is by Chris Claremont. I don't know whether he must have had this story in the filing cabinet, maybe, back in the day. and Jim Lee didn't fancy drawing it. I don't know, or the editor of Marvel at the time, or the editor of X-Men, and he's dusted it off and repitched it. I don't know. Don't know what he's done. Anyway, Chris Claremont makes it look easy in that. He makes a bit like what I say about Mark Waid, Jeff Johns, probably Busiek as well, where they make writing superhero comics. It is not easy, but those guys do make it. And a nice art job on that. It's well worth a nice issue 1, little mini series, just a throwback to X-Men and And I did like the cover, because the original cover on the Jim Lee cover, it had for the first time, and now on this one they put the last time, together for the last. On the other one it was for the first time. So I did like that little tie-in for the fanboys. Consistently, I didn't think I would annoy you all by doing a deep dive on Kaya again. I've done too many, haven't I? No, I don't think I have. But anyway, it was such a packed week. But I've always got to give this book an honourable mention. We are now on issue 15, and there hasn't. Wes Craig hasn't missed a beat for me on this book. He has not missed a beat in all 15 issues. They had a break between, obviously, the graphic novels, and one of the issues was only for the guys and girls buying the sloppies, which is nice. Normally it's the other way around. They pack the graphic novels. But no, he gave us an extra issue, and you get the graphic novels, you're missing out on one. But apart from the gap where he's obviously catching his breath and getting the new story together, it's been this team consistently on the same book, 15 issues now, and there is a lot to be said about that. But you need a great story to back it up, and obviously great artwork. Wes Craig is knocking it out of the park with that. Captain America, I can imagine this being Marmite for a lot of people, but I've decided to like it. It's good art. Oh, is it Medina? Yeah, Lam Medina. Decent artwork. He's not at his best, to be fair, but Straczynski, that boy can just tell a story. So that's why, that's why for me that's in there. Conan, again, consistently good writing. Jim's up. Who's Jim's up? Jim's up. Dougie Braithwaite's on this arc. So, well, if you're not picking this up, you must. By Crom, you must. This was the last issue in this story arc. And at some point, I will go back and read. You've got to go back and read all 6 issues. Just all in one go. See if you can get your melon round it. But in the meanwhile, beautiful artwork by Liam Sharp, and just a bonkers sci-fi ride in the meanwhile. But I've been enjoying it. Right, guys, whinge of the week. Now, I'm like Two-Face with this one. I really am. I am divided, the good and the bad, on this book. Year 1 Joker. Now, I got halfway through, and by the way, before I start, there is nothing intrinsically wrong with this comic. Chip Zdarsky is a great writer. The artwork inside is I wouldn't say great, but the artwork inside is good. This will be someone's first Joker story. I'm imagining that's what they're thinking. But I've got 2 gripes. I don't need to see another Joker origin. I really don't. But that's just me. Like I say, this might be someone's first Joker story. But why have you put it slap bang in the middle of the main Batman comics continuity? Why not just do a little 5 or 6 issue miniseries over on the side? Why release it weekly? Weekly? No, I completely disagree with what they've done here. It's a bit like Marvel on the Amazing Spider-Man one, which I know is crap, but suddenly giving you year one Spider-Man origin again. Oh, here he is. He's got bitten by a spider again. Or, oh, he didn't get bitten by a spider. It was a different. Oh, whatever it is. That's my little whinge of the week. Yet another Joker origin. We can do without it, but I get why things have got to be repackaged and, you know, for modern audiences. I get that. But why do it in the middle of Batman continuity? Why do it in the middle of You know, I've now got to get all these issues, which I'm just going to file, because I don't want to spoil my run. I don't want a 5 or 6 issue gap in my run. I don't know. Obviously, no one at DC is that cynical, and the amount of us that do that, you know, isn't worth their even thinking about. That isn't a consideration. But for me, that adds to the annoyance. You know, he stopped everything. A bit like a lot of people about the Night Terrors were saying, hold on, right in the middle of the Dawn of the DC, or not even in the middle, right at the beginning of Dawn of DC, you've just launched Night Terrors, which by and large I thought was too long, but I enjoyed. But I can see where they're coming from. That's my whinge of the week over. Let's do a deep dive now on the top 5 after the scroll. Okay, guys, here we go. Ultimate Black Panther, number 1. Brian Hill on the writing, who's been doing a really good job on Blade, actually. It's got that old school feel of the Blade, the character, and, you know, getting him back to basics. So, you know, for me, you know, just with that little track record. And this is obviously not set in the normal Marvel. It's setting up our villains, Khonshu and Ra, and without giving too much away, this is just quite a nice intro, but with that bit of the difference between Spider-Man. I mean, you know, this is lovely art job by. I thought I might get to by Stefano Caselli. You know, a decent art job, which is setting up the Black Panther of the Ultimate Universe. So obviously, like with the Ultimate Spider-Man, there is a lot of establishment, but with this, I don't know. I found it a bit more intriguing. They packed more in. I think they packed more in, or Brian Hill packed more in. And he managed to kind of start with the action, have the chatty bit that you need, and then, you know, kind of start towards finishing with a little bit of a little bit of action, which is only a little bit. It's just a little cliffhangery thing. I won't turn it over the page because obviously, but you know, there's a few pages of action at the end. So I'm trying to keep it spoiler light because obviously this is a big book. You know, a big release, loads of hype, but solid first issue. Nice art. And here we go. Lovely Alex Ross cover, as always. Now, it's a story about a dog. Yeah, right. I know. And I didn't think it was going to work. I'm trying to think of the dog's name now. Is it Bingo? Bingo? Oh. Sorry, I'm now reading a comic live. Well, not live. Anyway, it's the ghost dog that guards the Sanctum Sanctorum. So Doctor Strange and Claire have got to go off on a mission, and it's left. The dog it smells something, and it the two snakes are there as well, and it's up to them to solve the mystery, like literally like Scooby-Doo. But even this little interlude when they're back is funny, as in Black Cat. Look, back in 2019, got in. The dog's reminding him about the time that the Black Cat got in. And look, Clear's going, she, which I did find quite funny. Now he's saying, look, she tricked me. It was the snakes that let her in. Now they look, snitch, rat. This was perfectly pitched, and this is the evil that has entered the sanctum. But Doctor Strange is saying, I would know. Bats, the name of the dog. No bats. So yeah, so another night in shoes. Look, the dog is sleeping again. Like you know, it's Pasquale. Is it Pascal Ferry? No, Danilo S. Bayruth, guest artist. Night, you know, decent art job. Again, you know, it's not gonna. It's decent art. It's decent art. I don't want to say no. It's just decent art that carries the story along. I won't go no more from there, because obviously there was a little bit of a spoiler at the Wasset, and you know, the mystery around where the other snake has gone and who this person is. We find out, and it leaves a nice cliffhanger. And that's why I said earlier on, I think that's a nice old school throwback where a comic has a beginning, middle, end, and it has the traditional cliffhanger. You know, if it doesn't end, it has you've got your cliffhanger. Really enjoyed that. Another issue 1 this week. Another big, another massively hyped book. I think that's a gorgeous cover by DNA. What's his real name? I can never say. You know what I'm like with names. David Nakayama. That's the main cover. See gallery of all variant covers. Yeah, we won't maybe having a look at those. About 200 covers. Drew Moss art, Declan Shalvey writing it, and I tell you what, you don't have to, because I haven't. I barely remember the Thundercats. This sets it up nicely. Don't worry about it. If you just like good comics, and all right, it is a franchise. So what do we call this? Sci-fi? I don't know, but decent. This is just a decent comic. Great storytelling through the artwork, and enough information to, you know, intro all the characters, and kind of, you know, enough to get us interested in their different traits and what has actually gone on, you know, in the years, and why they've crashed on this planet, and you know, etc. And obviously there is also quite a bit in here for the fans, because obviously I know that much, that was in the cartoon. I know that much. I do know. Yeah, enough intrigue, and you know, Lord Slade, Lion-O, and you know, etc. So again, another just a little, you know, like I say, decent, you know, packed artwork, impactful stuff. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and again, like Ultimate Black Panther, it deserved the hype. I think, anyway. I think it deserved it. As a good issue 1. Now this one. Now obviously it's a little bit awkward, so I'll just show you a little bit. I wouldn't have ever thought that Jock would suit a sci-fi story, Jock's art style, but forgive me for this left-hand page. Obviously, I don't really want to bend it all in half. But man, he can draw a spaceship. Look at that. I don't know if that's coming out very well, but like, this story is more concerned with the spaceship is so vast that this group of saboteurs that our main character is involved in can literally hide. It's not just like the size of one city, it's the size of several cities. These are all the rich people in suspended animation. And this is our main character that is kind of started off as a, you know, stowaway, but has got in with the saboteur gang. And the story, you know, the story goes on from there. Look at that, it's great. But the reason I wanted to show the artwork was because it's not all. It's more like that the first Alien film, where it's that grimy kind of factory industrial looking interiors. You know, all the action 95% of the action takes place inside, which suits Jock's art style superbly. As you can see, by that, I think so anyway, and stuff like that. The action set piece scenes in this are great, and Distillery are really doing. Hope you can get like the full what's it there from Jock's, the full effect of it all. Another book I thoroughly recommend. But I've enjoyed everything so far that Distillery have put out. Quality product. But book of the week, guys, is this. Now, I always expect a decent story from Ram V, but I've got to say, the way it starts from the very, very beginning with one silent panel and two, and then picking up like one speech balloon silent panel, then two. How this brings you in slowly into a story is absolutely superb. Absolutely superb. And you think, now a little bit of a spoiler. You could probably, what I'm about to tell you, you could probably get from flicking through it in the comic book store, but just beware, I'm going to give a little light spoiler, but it's only information about what you can see on the page anyway. But you know, you get the feeling, you know, he's being this is a shrink talking to our main character, walks out into the rain. You know, you're thinking this is standard detective fare, and they're introducing us to the main character. Again, we're still setting the mood with nice little insets of mystery. We don't know yet what any of this means. We don't know what any of it means yet. And this is what I mean about Seven. By now, you really are getting that Seven, the movie Seven vibe. Then we're back to the conversation. He's moved around. It's conducted so nicely. The mood, the atmosphere of this book building. And then it just takes a breath. He's outside now. And we're in Neo Novena in 2873. And it kind of throws you off. The reason I loved it so much is that kind of threw me off a bit. I thought, wow. And you start looking at the future world that we're in now, and it's like, wow, like, really? Back to the mysterious, the dark and brooding imagery, which we haven't found out about yet. We will do further on in the comic. And again, building up this atmosphere. No words. We've already been told that it's already been alluded to that this is his last day. So we don't need anything, do we? We don't really need anything. And then we're back outside again, the rain, again, those Seven vibes. And basically, we're introduced to his ex-partner, a beautiful bit of writing. Beautiful bit of writing. Just this quip between two. Are they antagonistic toward each other? But we learn that they've been partners for a long while later on. I don't know if that's a spoiler or not. And what I'll do is I will leave it there because I think you've got enough flavour. I mean, obviously now all it is, you know, because it's a murder mystery kind of thing set in the future, you are only going to get, don't get me wrong, they're lovely panels, but I don't think it achieves anything to kind of, and I might slip up and give something away, and I want you to enjoy it. This book, one of the best comics, one of the best releases for quite a while, in my opinion. So now we have got to choose the cover of the week. So I'm going to bring back Thundercats. That, and I did post on my thread how much that looks like a Steranko cover from Art Noir or something. But it's only, at best, it's a homage, but it's only because it was the colouring and the fact that it was, you know, that kind of style. But yeah, very, very Jim Steranko, that cover. But I don't think it's nowhere near in the running. Alex Ross has always got to be in the running. I just find it funny. The comic was funny, very, very, very tongue in cheek. And I just find this all funny. This slice of life around him, and Doctor Strange taking a ghost dog for a walk. I thought that was hilarious. Obviously, if you're going to sell a Black Panther comic, you've got to put him on the cover. But I just think that's solid. That is how you sell a Marvel comic. Philip Tan, Wolverine, Black Widow, and Captain America. Say no more. Doctor Strange and Captain America. You know, Marvel. If you're going to buy a Marvel comic, you know, throw in a shield and, oh my God, what's this? You know, has Doctor Strange attached something to it and what's going on? Nice bit of intrigue there as well as the action. And 9 times out of 10, Conan is always good. I mean, Alex Hawley, he sums it up, you know, the same way that maybe Joe Jusko would with fully painted, like oil painted kind of stuff. It's always going to suit Conan. So what would you spend your, you know, oh, you got pocket money for one. Don't think it's going to be Conan. It is, you know, we kind of know the shtick, do we? Maybe know the shtick. Maybe with Captain America, all right, he's teamed up with Doctor Strange, but and throwing a shield. But is it enough? Yeah, maybe. Black Panther is just Black Panther. Yeah, okay, but very static. So I think we've got to put that away. The Doctor Strange one isn't exactly action-packed. It's funny, but I think if you've only got money for one comic, unless you're in that mood that week, you're not going to buy. You're not going to buy that for the hilarity. So we bless him, Alex Ross. Obviously, nothing wrong with the artwork. So we're kind of down to these three, and Thundercats. I think we've got to take Captain America away because it's down to these two as best cover of the week. Because this absolutely sums it all up. And old Nakayama, whatever his name is, I think it is Nakayama. I shouldn't say that, should I? I apologise. It is David Nakayama, yeah. That is superb. He can do a cover. He can certainly do a cover, and that sums up every character in that comic. And it's all, you know, we've got this weird vehicle in the background. And this, for me and my age group, those three characters in Madripoor on the cover, Philip Tan, yeah, it's a difficult one, to be fair, for me this week. But I am going to go, and I'm literally making the decision now. I kind of don't know why I didn't do that this week. My cover of the week this week is going to be, I think it's got to be Wolverine. Only because it's got the classic. I mean, I know Thundercats are kind of classic, aren't they? But for me, this is our Marvel sells a Wolverine comic. Couple of special guest stars. And I know it's not all action-packed. It was very, very close, but I've got to make a decision. That's my cover of the week. I really hope you've enjoyed it, guys, and stuck with me all the way to the end. Thank you so much if you have. And until next time, I will bid you adios.